What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/ProRevenge. Alright, this story's called Talk to Me Any Way You Please? Nah. Have fun losing the entire staff along with the juiciest of juicy contracts. This is a super throwback, but it still brings a smile to my face. Also, my writing sucks, so please excuse the grammatical errors. I was a rink rat growing up. The only day I wasn't in the skating rink were the adult and gay nights. Calm down, it was the 90s. That's literally what it was called. Friday night, Saturday morning and night, along with Sunday morning and night, I was there. Hell, I didn't even leave between the morning and night sessions. I even went Tuesday nights as well. I was serious too. I dove deep into speed skating, and not trying to toot my own horn, but I was pretty good and well known. Anyway, I'd been going to this specific skating rink for years and knew everyone. One day, it was right before I started 7th grade, the owner came up to me and asked me to go out onto the rink floor and tell some kids to slow down. I did and came back, and he asked me how I would like to make $7.50 an hour, to which I responded, "Do I also get in for free?" He laughed and said, "Of course." Boom! First job, and I wanted to be there anyway, so it was the biggest win-win of all time for me. To say I loved it was an understatement, and I did everything besides work the snack bar. DJ, skate counters, floor guard, janitor, hype man, you name it, and I did it. It was some of the greatest times of my life. So much fun, and the owner was super awesome. Also, we were paid under the table, so getting an envelope full of cash every week just felt like a bonus for having fun. To me, it wasn't a job, it was pure fun. It also helped that all my friends were regulars as well. A few years go by, and the owner sold it to another guy who we will call Tim. Tim could be an absolute nightmare to work for. He changed the entire dynamic of the place, and everyone felt it. Now, this skating rink was popular and extremely old. Lots of people all over the city knew of it. My mom and aunt skated there when they were kids, if that tells you anything. Some way or another, the new owner set up a juicy deal that had the rink starting to make a crap load of money. On Saturday night from 7 to 11, it was skating per usual, but from 11 to 2-ish to 3-ish, it was a club. A local hip-hop station came in there with local label Swishahouse and turned the place upside down for those few hours. Every week, and the place was poppin'. There must have been over 2,000 people in there on average, and at $20 per person, it adds up quick. Plus, the snack bar would never stop turning out foods and drink. We were making stupid money. Bonus, we also found some good stuff when cleaning up as well. Money, knives, weed, jewelry. It was awesome. So Tim has it made, but sometimes he would fly off the handle for little things. All of us weren't sure what his deal was, but he would explode out of nowhere and start talking all kinds of nonsense. I'd started to have enough, because we had all worked there for many years without issue. One night, he went too far. I don't like being called outside of my name. It's a respect thing. My own mother didn't do it, and he for sure wasn't. For context, I was in 10th grade now. One night, he was in some kind of mood, and for whatever reason, was taking it out on everyone. I don't remember the exact situation, but he started freaking out on me at about 11:30 p.m. Now, Slim Thug and Paul Wall were in the building that night, so the place was extra packed. Way more than usual. I'm sure we were breaking all kinds of fire marshal rules. He went ballistic and called me every name in the book while I just stood there with rage building up in me. I'd had enough. For years, this place ran flawlessly and everyone loved us, so he really didn't have a good reason to treat us in the manner he did. My plan was formed. I immediately gathered everyone else that was working, and we all decided that enough was enough. It was time for a lesson. I assembled the entire crew, and we all quit on the spot. All of us. That meant nobody to serve food, clean, help the Swishahouse people, or just carry out general things that needed to be done when 2,000 to 3,000 people were in the building. He was stunned. His tone changed and he became very sweet. We weren't having it. As an additional screw you, I called the other 2 people that were off and they showed up to quit as well. Tim had already reached out, so he assumed they were showing up to work. Nope, we left him with absolutely 0 workers on the absolute busiest of busy nights, and boy did it implode. He couldn't find anyone to work, so the place went to absolute crap that night. The on-duty officer told him he needed to figure something out or he was going to close it down without workers. Well, he didn't. It closed down that night, and apparently, without staff, it got nasty. People started having sex, smoking, trashing the place, and all kinds of stuff. Shortly after, the radio station and the label took their business elsewhere, and not long afterward, the place closed down. He lost his entire investment. This was very bittersweet for me because I loved the place, but he ran it into the ground. The building is still standing, and I would love to bring it back to its former glory, but my pockets aren't deep enough yet. Maybe one day. I hope you can do it, OP. That would be amazing. I used to go to the roller rink every Saturday as well, and it was always really fun when I was in 2nd grade. And I remember one night specifically, it was when Minutemen, that Disney Channel original movie with Jason Dolly, had just come out, and my mom had made some cookies. But the thing is, she didn't separate the cookies enough in the pan, so it was just one giant mega cookie in the tray. And I ate it, and my tummy was sensitive, so I had tummy troubles that night while I was skating. But I still had a blast. And they played some cool-ass music there, like Yeah by Usher, and this is when all those songs were brand new. And oh my god, it was so fun. This story's called Screw Me, Screw You, I Want My Money. This is a revenge in multiple parts, and apologies up front for the length. About 30 or so years ago, I was 17 and about to head to university. An acquaintance through my parents' church offered me a job working with him, learning to be a pizza chef. Awesome, I'd need money for uni, and I'd already had a stack of jobs, so working hard was nothing new for me. But being a cook certainly was. My experience with Italian was limited to Pizza Hut, so I accepted that at the start I was a liability, not a help. I started work, and to start with, I worked free. Cool. But when it got to the point about 3 months later that I was opening up by myself and taking whole shifts by myself, well, I should be paid. I mustered up all of my 17-year-old courage and confronted the owner. Let's call him Nick, because that was his name. He huffed and puffed and tried to tell me how terrible I was, but I stood my ground, and now I'm on minimum wage. Not bad in my eyes at the time. I worked there for another 3 years, through most of my uni degree, often putting in 30 hours contact at uni, 30 hours at the restaurant, and 30 hours of study. It was hectic, but just became the norm. Towards the end, I became a lot more savvy and started researching labor laws, keeping records of my pay packets, and end-of-year tax receipts, and realized Nick and other co-owners were screwing me. I wasn't on the correct rate, they weren't deducting tax correctly, and a couple of other accounting oversights. By then, I was working with my, at the time, mate. Let's call him girlfriend-creeping schlonghead. It was Sunday night. The place was packed, and I had tickets all the way down my line, and girlfriend-creeping schlonghead and I were pumped. We had a new boss, who just bought into the business, who thought he was the king of the world because he was now a restaurateur, a right wanker. But after years of having to stay back to cook pizzas on World Cup nights for the boss's friends, or Christmas, New Year's Eve, etc., I was sorta used to the grandstanding, chest-puffing behavior. The night in question, the new boss would not let me start the second pizza oven. Think a 2-tier oven. I was only allowed the top tier on, because it cost too much. So here I am, oven full, 2 pizza chefs running full speed, and we're only falling behind because one oven wasn't enough and it was starting to cool down from being so full, and open so frequently. New boss gets a couple of tables of mates in. Instead of just asking us to cook some comp garlic bread or whatever, he starts loading up trays himself and putting them in the oven. Not the worst crime, but because he had no idea what he was doing, every 30 seconds he'd open the oven to check them, cooling the oven down even further, potentially ruining the food we had in there and slowing us down measurably. I had the head chef chewing my ass out as his food was ready to go, but my food on the same ticket wasn't. It was hectic and not fun. This garlic bread bandit crap had to stop. New boss, stop screwing with my oven. If you want garlic bread, just ask. I'll get it done immediately for you.
What?
Huh? You're messing with my oven. You're cooling it down and we're too busy for this crap. Just tell me and I'll make it.
Okay.
Did he do it? Nope. He kept on. Cue the same conversation another 2 times. The last time I told him I'd blow my stack if he did it again. You see where this is going. He did it again. Now, after being consistently ripped off and abused, so many kooky stories from that place, for 3 years, my time was up there anyway. And this was the time to do it. I looked at girlfriend creeping schlonghead and said, "Yo, we outta here?" He looked back and simply said, "Yup." We stripped our aprons and in front of the entire restaurant, Pizza Kitchen was in full view of the entire restaurant, threw them on the bench and told new boss, "We quit. All these tickets, all the food in the oven you've screwed up, and your mate's crappy garlic bread, that's all yours now. Good luck." Then we walked out. We got some coffees from the baristas, sat in front of the pizza area, and watched him absolutely flounder. He had no idea what he was doing, and there was literally no one else there that could help him. We could see the food coming out from the kitchen, but the pizza on the same ticket was taking 20 minutes or more longer to come out. Tables were hopping mad. We could hear the grumblings all around us. I'll admit it was childish, but undeniably satisfying to behold. That's not the ProRevenge though. The ProRevenge was that I'd been stealing my timesheet every Sunday night, photocopying it, then replacing it Monday mornings. I'd been doing that for over a year. I'd also told girlfriend creeping schlonghead to do it. Monday I walk in and Nick was there and was furious at me. As I was walking in, you could see his chubby face turn bright red as he bellowed across the restaurant floor.
What the frick you think you're doing here? Get the frick out, never come back.
Nick, we've got to talk. We can do it here or we can do it in your office. But trust me, you want to have this conversation privately.
Fine. You come with me then.
Desperately trying to gain the upper hand back, and he storms to his crappy little office out the back.
I'm not gonna pay this stupid other illegal things that will get me into a whole heap of other illegal hot air.
You done? Good. Here, read this. I hand him a printout of an Excel spreadsheet, a stack of photocopied timesheets, a stack of photocopied payslips, printed copies of the wage awards, all of which detail the amount he's ripped me off for. You owe me $6,000. I'll take cash or a check now. Did I mention he and the other bosses had just been simultaneously raided by the tax office and that they and the business were all on thin frickin' ice? Yeah. Bad timing for Nick the... Oh, come on. I really want to say it. Bad timing for Nick the Trick.
But I can't afford it. Look, I'll show you my bank accounts.
As he physically starts scrambling to find his bank statements. Nick, I literally don't give a crap about you, your bank accounts, or your situation. You owe me $6,000 today, or I take all of this to the tax office and all of the other relevant government departments that will be very interested in this, because Nick, I have a feeling if you're doing this to me, you're doing it to the other staff here as well, huh? As for not having the money, well, again, not my problem. But you just bought a new $60,000 Pajero, so if you have to run that down to the car yard and sell it, again, I don't give a damn. But I get $6,000 today! He literally teared up a little. I'm not sure why. Maybe through frustration, rage, or just being screwed by someone he thought way beneath him. But seeing a grown man who's abused you for many years cry at your hands is a a pretty beautiful thing to behold as a 20-year-old kid. I got a check that day for my whole $6,000. And yes, it cashed, but the best was walking out of his office with girlfriend creeping schlonghead standing there who deadpan just looked him in the eyes and said, "Nick, we need to talk." And in they walked to do the same thing. $10,000 he lost that day. The best part? A few of my friends at the restaurant caught wind of the fact that I had enraged him and asked what it was all about. I let them know how they were being screwed, how to take copies of all their timesheets, and where to find the relevant laws. I know several other people who did the same thing to him. And that was how I left the hospitality industry and started working in my field of study, never to look back. Hope you enjoyed my cake day present, y'all. That must have felt pretty badass to walk in there and take what was yours. Nice job, man. This story's called Free Sausages! This happened quite a while ago when I had a job in a fish and chip shop. The owner of the chip shop was such a bully. He would shout at me sometimes in front of customers, usually reducing me to tears. I got splashed with some hot oil up my hand, resulting in a few days off work as I had a huge blister on my hand and wrist. Ouch! When I came back, he ordered me to show him the burn. It was bandaged, and then asked if I had learned my lesson. So after that, every chance I got, I would give away free sausages to the customers who came to the shop with dogs. I was giving away upwards of 20 sausages a day to random dogs. If he decided on a day that he would be extra horrible, I would pile chips and free stuff into people's orders. Until a few weeks later, I found another job and told him where to stick his. Haha! Nice! What a cool... I like... That was so cool. That was a nice ending.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.